Have you ever wondered why some people thrive well into their 90s, while others deteriorate in their 70s? It's a secret that has puzzled doctors for decades. What if I told you the difference isn't genetics, or expensive medications, or even good luck? The latest groundbreaking research from the world's blue zones, places where people routinely live past 100, has finally revealed the shocking truth. The secret lies in what you do during the first hour after waking up. That's right. The decisions you make in those crucial first 60 minutes after opening your eyes could determine whether you'll be vibrant at 90 or struggling at 75. Among the 7 life-changing morning habits I'm about to share, habit number 1, finding your Ikigai. Your reason for being. Ikigai is a beautiful Japanese concept from Okinawa, one of the world's blue zones, where people routinely live past 100. In its simplest form, Ikigai means your reason for being, or more specifically, your reason to get up in the morning. This isn't some vague philosophical idea. The science is remarkable. Researchers at Tokyo University conducted a 7-year study of over 43,000 adults and found something stunning. People with a clear purpose in life had a 43% lower risk. Here's what happens in your brain when you wake up with Ikigai. Your brain immediately releases 2 powerful neurotransmitters, dopamine and norepinephrine. You've probably heard of dopamine as the feel-good chemical, but it's much more than that. These chemicals don't just make you feel good, they physically change your body. Dr. Elizabeth Thompson from Stanford's Longevity Center explains, when you wake with purpose, your brain chemistry shifts from stress mode to growth mode. We see measurable reductions in cortisol, the stress hormone that causes chronic inflammation. It's the root cause of nearly every age-related disease: heart disease, Alzheimer's, arthritis, and even some cancers. Having an Ikigai literally creates an anti-inflammatory effect in your body at the cellular level. Now, I see what you think. That sounds nice, but I'm retired, or my purpose was my career, and that's over. Your Ikigai doesn't need to be grand or world-changing. In fact, the smallest purposes often create the strongest effects. Here's how to start. Place a notepad and pen beside your bed tonight. When you wake up tomorrow, before touching your phone or turning on the TV, ask yourself one simple question. What is one thing I'm looking forward to today? Write down just one thing. Maybe it's calling your grandchild. Maybe it's tending to your garden. Maybe it's reading another chapter in that book you're enjoying, or trying a new recipe, or meeting a friend for coffee. Robert Edison, whom I told you about earlier, started exactly this way. At first, he struggled to find anything to look forward to. His first note simply said, "Coffee on the porch." But within weeks, his notes became more specific and meaningful. By the time he reached his 90s, he had filled dozens of journals with daily purposes. Finding my daily Ikigai, Robert told, was like turning on a light switch inside me. Suddenly, my problems seemed smaller and my possibilities seemed larger. Remember, you don't need a profound purpose every day. You just need a reason, any reason, to welcome the new day with anticipation rather than dread. It's essential. Do you do this already? If not, when will you start? Tomorrow morning could be the beginning of your transformation. Now that you have your reason to wake up, let's talk about what you should eat first thing in the morning. Habit number 2. Habit number 2, eating a healthy breakfast. Let me ask you something. Do you skip breakfast? Many of us do, thinking it might help with weight or simply because we're too busy. But did you know that nearly 93% of people who live past 90 never skip their morning meal? And here's an even more important question. When you do eat breakfast, what are you actually putting into your body? Is it truly nourishing your aging cells? Or, and I hate to say this, might it actually be accelerating your aging process? I used to grab a bagel and coffee most mornings. Quick, easy, and I thought it was perfectly fine. But when I studied the breakfast habits of the world's longest-lived people, I discovered something that completely changed my understanding of morning nutrition. The truth is, what most of us consider a decent breakfast is actually programming our bodies for inflammation, energy crashes, and accelerated aging. But don't worry, the solution. Let's take a look at Martha's story. At 67, this retired school teacher from Minnesota was taking 3 different medications for diabetes, high blood pressure, and elevated cholesterol. Her doctor had just suggested adding a 4th. "I thought I was doing everything right," Martha told. "I was eating my heart-healthy instant oatmeal with skim milk every morning, just like the commercials said I should." What Martha didn't realize was that her processed breakfast was causing dangerous blood sugar spikes, triggering a cascade of inflammation throughout her body. After learning about the Blue Zone breakfast approach, Martha made surprisingly simple changes. Within 6 months, her doctor was baffled by her blood work. "He kept asking what medications I was taking," Martha laughed. "When I told him the only thing I'd changed was my breakfast, he couldn't believe it." For the first time in 8 years, Martha's doctor began reducing her medications. Today, at 74, she takes just 1 low-dose medication, down from the 4 that had been prescribed. So how can you create your own longevity breakfast starting tomorrow morning? Here's a simple longevity bowl formula that anyone can follow. Begin with a base of whole grains or quinoa, which is perfect. Not instant, not processed. Add a thumb-sized portion of healthy fat, half an avocado, a tablespoon of walnuts, or a sprinkle of flax seeds. Include a small serving of protein, a boiled egg, a spoonful of Greek yogurt, or even a small piece of leftover salmon from dinner. Finally, add color with berries or dark fruits. Blueberries, blackberries, or cherries are ideal as they're low in sugar, but high in antioxidants. The beauty of this approach is its flexibility. You can adapt it to your tastes and what's available seasonally. The important thing is maintaining the balance of those core components. Robert Edison, whom I mentioned earlier, credited this breakfast formula as one of the key habits that transformed his health. "I never knew breakfast could be so simple yet so powerful," he told me at age 91. "It's like putting premium fuel in a car. Everything just runs better." What will your longevity breakfast look like tomorrow morning? Habit number 3, getting enough sleep and waking early. Have you noticed how children seem to bounce back from almost anything, while recovery becomes harder with us? There's a fascinating reason for this, and it's directly connected to our 3rd longevity habit: proper sleep. Dr. Matthew Walker from UC Berkeley, one of the world's leading sleep researchers, calls sleep the universal healthcare provider. In his groundbreaking research, he discovered that sleep isn't just rest, it's when your body performs its most critical repair work. For those of us over 60, this repair work becomes increasingly vital. During deep sleep, your brain clears out harmful proteins that contribute to Alzheimer's disease. Your heart and blood vessels undergo essential maintenance, and your immune system resets itself to fight off infections and even cancer cells. So when should you wake up? The answer might surprise you. The world's longest-lived people don't sleep in, and they don't need alarm clocks either. Their secret is waking naturally 1 to 2 hours after sunrise, which perfectly aligns with our body's ancient biological clock. In Sardinia, Italy, home to the world's highest concentration of male centenarians, almost everyone over 90 would naturally wake between 5:30 and 6:30 a.m. without alarms. This early morning period triggers a cascade of hormones that regulate everything from your metabolism to your mood. Researchers at the Salk Institute found that early risers have up to 25% lower rates of depression and show significantly better glucose regulation, a key marker for longevity. But what's truly fascinating is that this habit can be cultivated. You don't have to be a morning person by nature. You can become one by practice. Remember Robert Edison, our 90-year-old writer? For over 60 years, Robert slept 7 hours each night, going to bed at 10:30 p.m. and rising naturally at 6 a.m. When interviewed him in his London home, he showed me the journal where he'd tracked this schedule for decades. Most people think creativity requires. So, how can you develop this powerful habit starting tonight? Let me share 3 simple steps. First, establish a consistent sleep and wake schedule, even on weekends. Your body craves routine. Start by waking just 15 minutes earlier than usual, then adjust gradually over several weeks. Second, create a screen-free buffer zone 90 minutes before bedtime. The blue light from phones, tablets, and TVs disrupts your melatonin production, the hormone that signals your body it's time to sleep. Instead, try reading a physical book, having a meaningful conversation, or practicing gentle stretching. Third, and this might surprise you, don't panic if you wake up around 3 or 4 a.m. and can't immediately fall back asleep. Many healthy older adults naturally follow what historians call a biphasic sleep pattern. Before electricity, this midnight waking period was normal. People would often read, write in journals, or have quiet conversations before returning to sleep for their second sleep. Margaret used to stress about her middle-of-the-night wakings until she learned about this pattern. Now, she keeps a journal by her bed, writes down any thoughts or concerns, does some gentle breathing exercises, and returns to sleep without anxiety. Her sleep quality has actually improved by accepting this natural rhythm rather than fighting it. Remember, consistency is more important than perfection. Your habit number 4, drinking warm water. We've finally arrived at habit number 4. The one I promised takes just 30 seconds, but could add years to your life. Drinking a glass of warm water immediately upon waking. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But sometimes the most powerful habits are the simplest ones. Think about it. During those 7-8 hours of sleep, your body has been working tirelessly, repairing cells, processing the previous day's inputs, and preparing for the day ahead. By morning, you're mildly dehydrated, even if you don't feel thirsty. When you drink warm water first thing in the morning, you're essentially jump-starting your entire digestive system. It's like turning on the ignition of a car that's been sitting overnight. Everything begins to move and function optimally. What amazes me is how this 30-second habit is practiced in nearly identical ways across completely different cultures. From Japanese centenarians to Italian elders to long-lived Seventh-day Adventists in California. You might be wondering, why warm water specifically? Why not cold or room temperature? The Japanese Institute of Hydration Research says they found that warm water, not hot, but pleasantly warm at about 120 degrees Fahrenheit, increases blood circulation by 24% compared to cold water. This improved circulation delivers oxygen and nutrients to every cell in your body more efficiently. But the benefits don't stop there. Warm water consumption, first thing in the morning, has been shown to increase metabolic rate by approximately 30%, perhaps. Most importantly, for those of us over 60, warm morning water improves gut function, where about 70% of your immune system resides. Dr. Hiroshi Yamada explains, when we consume warm water after the overnight fast, it stimulates peristalsis, the contractions that move food through your digestive system, more effectively than cold water. This helps eliminate toxins that have accumulated overnight. This cleansing effect may explain why long-term practitioners of this habit show remarkably lower rates of digestive disorders, constipation, and even colon cancer. Issues that become increasingly common as we age. This transformed life for Kumiko, a 96-year-old woman who moved with the grace and energy of someone decades younger. Each morning for over 70 years she had performed the same ritual, drinking a glass of warm water with a slice of fresh lemon before doing anything else. What struck me most about Kumiko wasn't just her longevity, but her quality of life. At 96, she lived independently, tended her garden daily, and had a memory that put mine to shame. When her doctor ran routine tests, the results were astonishing. Her kidney function tested equivalent to that of an average 60-year-old. Those who maintain the morning warm water habit consistently show better hydration markers, kidney function, and digestive health than those who don't. We often search for or think of complicated solutions to every problem. However, the simple things truly offer the best solutions. Tonight, before bed, place a glass or an insulated bottle of room temperature water on your nightstand. You can add a slice of lemon if you prefer, though plain water works beautifully too. The moment you wake up, before checking your phone, before even getting out of bed, reach for this water and drink 10 to 12 ounces slowly. Not cold water, which can shock your system, and not hot water, which can damage delicate tissues. Just pleasantly warm. The timing is critical. Before coffee, tea, and breakfast, this must be the first thing you consume. I want to emphasize that these 30 seconds can literally transform your entire day. Many people report better digestion, more natural energy, clearer thinking, and even improved complexion within days of adopting this simple habit. And you, What do you think about this habit? Is it worth trying tomorrow? Leave a comment below the video. Habit number 5. Gentle morning exercise. Forget everything you've heard about no pain, no gain. When it comes to longevity, especially for those of us over 60, gentle movement trumps intense exercise every single time. In Okinawa, home to some of the world's oldest people, seniors begin each day with what they call radio taiso, simple stretching exercises that take just 5 to 10 minutes. These aren't complicated yoga poses or strenuous calisthenics, just gentle, deliberate movements that wake up every joint in the body. What surprised researchers at Stanford University was how profoundly effective these simple movements are. Their studies found that morning stretching routines reduced fall risk by an astonishing 41%. Perhaps most surprisingly, these gentle movements trigger the release of endorphins, your body's natural feel-good hormones, at levels comparable to what others might get from a 30-minute run. The key difference? No strain on your heart, joints, or muscles. Here's a simple 5-minute routine you can start tomorrow morning, right after your warm water habit. First, stand up if you're able to. If mobility is an issue, you can do modified versions of these movements while seated. Begin with 3 deep breaths, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. As you breathe in, gently raise your arms above your head, reaching toward the ceiling. As you exhale, slowly lower them. Next, keeping your feet planted, gently rotate your upper body from side to side, allowing your arms to swing naturally. This movement lubricates your spine and wakes up your core muscles that support proper posture throughout the day. Then, turn your wrists, ankles, knees, and hips. Make small circular motions with each joint, about 5 to 10 circles in each direction. You might hear some popping or cracking. That's perfectly normal as synovial fluid begins to lubricate areas that have been still all night. If balance is stable, try some gentle toe touches. You don't need to reach all the way down. Just bend forward comfortably, feeling a gentle stretch in your hamstrings and lower back. Finally, conclude with 5 more deep breaths. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward to the next. The entire routine should take no more than 5 minutes. The key is consistency, not intensity. What makes this habit particularly powerful is its accessibility. Weather doesn't matter. Your fitness level doesn't matter. Even if you're dealing with health challenges, some version of gentle movement is almost always possible. Habit number 6, morning social connection. A groundbreaking 85-year Harvard study, the longest study on happiness ever conducted, discovered something remarkable. When you connect with another human being within the first few hours of waking, your brain releases oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. This single neurochemical reduces inflammation, lowers blood pressure, and even strengthens your immune response throughout the entire day. The data shows that people who engage in even brief, meaningful social contact before 10 a.m. have 29% lower rates of all-cause mortality compared to those who remain socially isolated until later in the day. Now, implementing this habit doesn't require elaborate social gatherings or lengthy conversations. Here are 3 simple ways to incorporate morning social connection into your routine. First, make a brief morning call to someone you care about. Even a 3-minute conversation counts. Quality matters more than quantity. Keep it positive and uplifting. Second, if you live with others, take 2 minutes to make eye contact and ask a meaningful question. What are you looking forward to today? Third, if you live alone, consider establishing a regular morning routine that includes brief social interaction. Whether it's chatting with a neighbor, the barista at your local coffee shop, or even a consistent morning text exchange with a friend. For those concerned about time, remember, this habit can be as brief as minutes, yet it literally changes your body's biochemistry for the next 24 hours. Is there any investment with a better return than that? I'm glad you took the time to watch this video. Watch until the end to discover the final habit. Let's go. Habit number 7, practicing gratitude. Our final habit might seem deceptively simple, but I've seen it transform lives more dramatically than almost any other practice. A morning gratitude ritual. Let me share Patricia's story with you. An 82-year-old woman whose life changed completely through this one habit. 5 years ago, I was in a dark place, Patricia told me, her eyes glistening with emotion. My husband of 56 years had passed away. I was taking medications for depression, anxiety, and high blood pressure. Some days, I could barely find the strength to get out of bed. Patricia's doctor was concerned about her rapidly declining health. Her inflammation markers were dangerously high, and her blood pressure was unstable. More medication seemed inevitable. Then I gave her a journal with a request. Each morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. That's all I ask. At first, I was resistant, Patricia admitted. What did I have to be grateful for? My husband was gone, my health was failing, but she promised she'd try. The first few entries were basic. I'm grateful for my comfortable bed. I'm grateful the sun is shining. I'm grateful for my morning coffee. But something unexpected happened around day 14. Patricia began to feel a subtle shift within herself. Her entries became more profound. I'm grateful for my hands that have held 3 generations of my family. I'm grateful for my heart, which still feels love after all this pain. I'm grateful for my memories that keep David alive within me. By the 1-month mark, Patricia found herself waking up with, of all things, anticipation. I actually looked forward to my gratitude practice, she told me. It became the anchor of my day. 6 months later, at her medical checkup, her doctor was stunned. Her inflammation markers had dropped by 32%. Her blood pressure had stabilized. For the first time in years, they began reducing her medications. The most profound change wasn't physical, though, Patricia shared, her face illuminated with quiet joy. It was in how I experienced each day. I hadn't eliminated my grief or my challenges, but they no longer defined me. My gratitude practice has given me a different lens through which to see the world. Today, Patricia starts each morning by placing her hand over her heart and naming 3 specific things she's grateful for before her feet touch the floor. 3 years into this practice, she's off all her depression and anxiety medications and takes only a minimal dose for blood pressure. Most people don't realize, Patricia told me with the wisdom that only comes from lived experience, gratitude isn't just a nice sentiment, it's a physiological intervention. It literally changed my brain, my heart, and eventually, my entire life. As we wrap up these 7 transformative morning habits from the world's longest-lived people, ask yourself, which of these practices could become your anchor? Which one resonates most deeply with your heart? 7 powerful morning habits that could transform your health and potentially add years, quality years, to your life. Finding your Ikigai, your reason for being. Nourishing your body with a proper longevity breakfast. Getting enough sleep and waking naturally. Drinking warm water first thing, our 30-second miracle habit. Practicing gentle, joint-lubricating movement. Making a meaningful morning social connection. And starting your day with heart-centered gratitude. These aren't complicated biohacks or expensive treatments. They're simple, ancient practices shared by the world's longest-lived people from completely different cultures and backgrounds. But here's my most important advice. Don't try to implement all 7 habits at once. That's a recipe for overwhelm and abandonment. Instead, start with the one habit that resonates most with you. Perhaps the 30-second warm water ritual, which requires almost no time or preparation. Master that single habit for a week. Then, when it feels as natural as brushing your teeth, add another. Robert Edison, who lived vibrantly into his 90s, began with just 2 habits and gradually built his full morning routine over several months. Remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about consistent, small actions that compound over time. Each of these habits is like planting a seed that will grow into greater health and vitality as the years pass. Before you stop the video, I have one final request. If you found value in these habits, please share this video with someone you care about. Parents, a spouse, a dear friend. This could be the most precious gift you ever give them. Not just a longer life, but a richer, more vibrant experience of every day you're given.